So far, we've talked about two styles of price discrimination that could occur. The first is perfect price discrimination. This is when the businesses charge consumers their full willingness to pay. Not practical, not feasible, probably doesn't ever happen. The second scenario happens all the time. Second degree price discrimination. This is where businesses figure out a way to reduce the price as consumers consume more of an item. And you see this in bundle pricing. We talked about buy one, get one free. You might see, buy three, get one free. Season tickets to basketball games, same sort of deal. If you buy an individual ticket, that might be $40. You buy a season tickets with 20 games, it's not going to be $20 for each individual game. You're going to get a discount as you consume more. So second degree price discrimination is about charging consumers less as they consume more. There's two more types of price discrimination we're going to talk about. The third, as you probably would have guessed, is called third degree price discrimination. And third degree price discrimination now is about segmenting the market. And this is where you're going to charge different prices to different groups. Okay? This is where you're going to charge different prices to different groups. I think I've already gave one example here. Student discounts. The logic here is that students probably have a lower willingness to pay. So you're trying to extract as much revenue as you can as possible. If you didn't use price discrimination, you might need to lower the price to everyone to get the customers, to get the students to spend money at your store. All right? But you would really still like to charge non-students a higher price. And so student discounts are a way of charging one group one price and another group a different price. You see second degree price discrimination, this bundle pricing a lot. You also see this a lot, I believe. So student discounts, church bulletins, bring in this church bulletin and receive 10% off your purchase. Here's a real common one, coupons. The logic of coupons is, think about the type of person who's willing to cut coupons. Someone who has a lot of time and maybe not a lot of money, they have more to gain by spending time cutting coupons. Compare that to somebody with a lot of income. With somebody with a lot of income, their time is really valuable. So it's probably not worth it, just in pure dollars and cents, to take the time to find coupons and clip them. All right? So you're going to charge some people a higher price and other people a lower price based on, are they going to be willing to take the time to cut the coupons or not? All right? So church bulletins, coupons, happy hours. I really could go on and on with this list. Different locations. And this is basically recognizing that this is a very broad type of price discriminating. If you buy a nice pair of shoes in Milledgeville, it's probably going to be cheaper than Atlanta. And that may have to do with the cost of production or the cost of selling the item. But in general, people in Atlanta probably have a higher willingness to pay. So you can get away with charging them more. So this is all examples of third degree price discrimination. The most interesting example of this that I ever saw was I was up in Athens. This is back when I was in college. I was up in Athens, spent the night at a friend's house, and we woke up the next morning. We went out for breakfast. We walk in, and there's a big sign that says 10% discount if you pretend to jump on a pogo stick. It's think about what they're trying to accomplish here. Someone who's maybe older and has more money, probably not going to take the time to sort of, embarrass themselves by doing so. But somebody like me who was in college, you better believe I jumped on that pogo stick to get that 10% discount. By the way, the friend I was there with didn't jump on the pogo stick. All right, he was just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to jump on the pogo stick. Right. So think about what that might do. For me, the person who has a low willingness to pay, I might not go to that restaurant at its set price. Maybe I need that 10% discount to get me there at all. And for my friend, he doesn't really care anyway. All right, he's not as price sensitive. So they're able to charge him more and me less by approximating that our willingness to pay is different. Okay. And the pogo stick, I think, is a really creative way to do that. So these are all types of third degree price discrimination. I think the logic behind this one is more simple than second degree, but I do want to show you a mathematical example of how this works. So let's compare me versus you guys. And let's say we're thinking about eating at Kai Tai. I'm sorry I always use food examples, but dining is often where you see a lot of these creative pricing mechanisms being used because it's something that consumers have a lot of different options for, and consumers have to choose where they're going to go, which is a little bit different than, say, buying something online. If you're buying, an item online, let's say you're going to buy a microphone online. Well, there's all kinds of places you can go shop, and you're probably just going to find the lowest price, right? The items are pretty similar across the board, but when you're buying food, there's lots of different places. They offer different things, and they tend to get more creative with pricing. And that's why you see happy hours and early bird specials and stuff, because people eat 3 times a day in most cases, and they have different willingness to pay at different times of the day. It's a good time to really think about price discrimination. So maybe this is the price of different meals. And I don't know if this is true. I'm kind of a cheapskate, but maybe my willingness to pay is higher than it is for you. And so let's think about it here. In third-degree price discrimination, what the firm is doing is not charging me a different price as I consume more units. And it's not charging you a different price as you consume more units. But what it's doing is it's charging me a different price than you in general. Okay? So for me, I'm going to be charged just one price. Okay? But it's just not going to be the same price as you. So let's think about revenues here. Here are the revenues that I would generate for the firm based on my spending. And here's what you would generate based on your willingness to pay. All right? The consumer here is a lot more price sensitive, so as that price goes down, they're going to consume it a lot more often. And obviously firms don't just care about revenues, they also care about costs. But let's imagine in this scenario, they're really trying to maximize revenues. Maybe it's very cheap to produce food at Kai Tai. Well, think about it. What they would really like to do is charge me $9, where they would get $180 in revenue. Notice that'd be better than charging $6, because at $6 they get the same revenue, but they have to make more food. All right. So this would be ideal in terms of maximizing revenue. And then for you, what they'd really like to do is charge you $6. Okay. Well, how do you do that? Well, you use third-degree price discrimination. You say, if you show your Bobcat card, we'll give you a $6 price. They might even say, if you use your Bobcat card, we'll give you a $6 price. Okay. They may also use early bird specials, right? Probably me with a higher willingness to pay probably doesn't think about the time of day as much with my consumption. Maybe you think about it more. College students tend to have more time, more free time. They don't have kids usually, so they can sort of choose when they want to go out. So they might offer early bird specials. There's lots of ways to do it, but in this case, probably just a simple student discount card would work. You could also imagine that they might figure out a way to blend second and third degree. And this is where you're getting more sophisticated with your pricing. You might not only just offer student versus regular pricing, but you might also say, if you buy 10 meals, we'll give you your 11th free. You guys have probably seen this before, right? Where you get a little punch card, and as you buy more, you get one free at the end of your purchasing. It's a very common thing to see. So maybe offer that as well, which will get people to buy more than they otherwise would. If you're running a business, if you're somebody who's thinking you might run a business in the future, you got to think about these pricing mechanisms. Firms, they fail. Most firms, when they open up, they will not succeed. They will be gone within the next few years. And often the decision of, are your profits high enough or not, it's a really tough call. You open up a new business, you're hoping to make 60 grand a year, but you only make 55 grand a year. I can't help but think that some smarter price mechanisms could make the difference for these firms.